Hello and welcome to the sixth installment of our bite-sized budget series. This is one of our larger installments as it goes over travel, which has a lot of different components and a lot of different rules. In part one, I will go over allowable travel and the different categories that fall under travel. When it comes to university policies, this falls under the authority of business and finance. To look at these policies, you'd visit the BizFin website. Important policies include 15. Under 15, there is a section about making travel arrangements, allowability of travel expenses, and international travel insurance, which is a requirement for business travel internationally. Policy 8 includes information about travel reimbursement. And then 15 does have a couple of supplements that explain things. The first supplement defines headquarters, travel status, and travel mileage. And supplement 15.1 talks about reimbursement and per diem. It is also important to know that a new requirement is that domestic travel has to gain pre-approval in the university IMBURS system. It is also important to note that some sponsors have more stringent requirements than our policies might allow. So always check for what is allowed and what is required. Some sponsors may only allow specific destinations or specific travel purposes. Check the details that they require you to provide. Most of these are required internally, so this may not necessarily be any different from what you do otherwise, but check to see if the sponsor has a specific level of detail they are requiring. Also important to know is where to budget conference registration. Some sponsors want this in travel. Some sponsors want this in other direct costs. If the sponsor doesn't specify and you are on the fence, if the conference registration cost includes meals or lodging, travel makes the most sense. Otherwise, it can go in other direct costs. And always make sure you're following compliance. Federal sponsors will require you to adhere to the Fly America Act. They may have different compliance requirements for what is unallowable or allowable. They may require you to budget for attendance at specific meetings. Always pay attention to what is required. When it comes to the travel category, there are a lot of subcategories to consider, and some things are not always thought about and they get missed in your budgeting. I think most people know to budget for airfare. Make sure you're checking the cost per person. These are typically round trip tickets. This is relatively straightforward. Ground transportation is not always fully thought of, especially when it comes to the next subcategory, personal vehicle mileage. Ground transportation could include a train to and from a destination. If you are not taking a vehicle, you need to consider local travel, whether that is by bus, shuttle, taxi, Uber. If it is more economical to rent a car, take those into consideration. If you are traveling to an airport, think about the fact that you have to get to the airport and then get back home or back to the university, whatever is closer. Consider your lodging. Usually this is hotels, not always. Per diem. When you are in travel status, you are not being reimbursed per meal. You are not saving your receipts. You are reimbursed at a set rate based on where you are traveling to. And I will go into that a lot more in depth in one of the following videos. And there are other miscellaneous expenses that are allowable. This might include parking at the airport, or if you drove directly, parking at the hotel. This might include tolls if you are going on roads that require them. Again, that conference registration, if it falls under the travel category. If you need to pay for your bags separately from your flight tickets. All of these add up and are not always accounted for. If you get emails from payables, pay attention to them. They send a lot of really good information. I will not read these to you, but if you want to pause, these are recent emails I've gotten that I honestly didn't know. And so I wanted to add them to this training so that you're not going into budgeting blind. The first is about airfare, where economical doesn't always mean cheapest. Next is about employee discounts, specifically through Anthony Travel Agent. There's information from a different email about the travel agent and how to use it, why to use it. If you are traveling by train, there's a specific state of Illinois employee discount for Amtrak. Last but not least, we have a partnership with Uber for Business, which gets us additional premium benefits. In the next video, we will go over how to estimate travel costs. And the first time I recorded that, it took much longer than anticipated. So that is actually broken into 2 different videos. And then after that, we will go over putting numbers into budgets. And lastly, we will go over how to create a budget justification for those travel costs.